One question I get asked a lot is, what is my life purpose? As if there is just one purpose. And I don't know where that started. And there is coaches out, life coaches out there that will look at somebody and tell them what they think their life purpose is. Absolutely everything that you go through has a purpose. Everything. The one and only reason that we are all here on this earth is to allow the soul energy to be in a human body, to learn, to grow, and to have human experiences. That's it. It's not, you see, our ego mind, the human mind, gets caught up in, I'm supposed to be in a certain job, I'm supposed to be a certain person. It doesn't matter. Like, there is billions of existences on this world, on this earth. It doesn't matter what your character, what you play, what the role you play. The lessons will come. The lessons is what the soul wants. Now, so the way I was shown it is there's levels. Now, let's say it's like in a pyramid shape, and this is source energy, God, the center of the whole source universe, and radiating from that is different levels. So high levels would be spiritual energies that have not existed as a human. They are just pure energy. You may want to call them the angels. I'm not sure that I want to call them um, like the archangels, because that's just connected to Christian belief. Like in other religions, there is no archangels. So I would just say, as a broader reference, rather than labeling them as one thing, as a very high entity that has not existed in a human body but has all knowing, right? It has all knowing. And the further down you get, so let's say there's soul energy that has lived many, many, many lifetimes and has had many, many experiences as a human being and has collected all this knowledge. So when it returns into a higher level. If it's energy that has only ever had one life experience and it doesn't have a great deal of knowledge and doesn't have a great deal of knowing, it'll be down here in the lower levels. Now, I don't believe we control where the soul that is residing in me and residing in you, what level it has come from. But there is kind of a knowing in our existence here of remembering. So some people have absolutely no remembering of previous lives or previous existences. Some people get a bit of a feeling like, I think I lived there before, I think I experienced that before. And some people have lots of knowledge, like they bring lots of knowledge, and it all depends on where the soul has formulated from to come into the human body. Now, there is a question that I don't know the answer to, which is, do we willingly, so let's say there's this whole, if you can imagine in your head this thing like a circle going around and around, and there's different levels going up, right? So it's all connected. See, it's all one, it's all connected. And this level would know this level, and this level knows that it level exists but doesn't understand it yet. If something breaks, a part of the energy source breaks away and comes into the human body. Now, the bit I don't know is, is the soul just breaking away as a choice to come into the body, or is some higher power instructing that soul to come into that body? So that's the part I don't know, and I keep asking that, and hopefully I will get an answer to that one day in a meditation. It'll just come to me. So you've got the soul has broken away from a certain level. Now, this explains why some souls that might have come from down here have come into the human body to experience being a human. And being a human means having emotions and learning how to interact with one another. We are all here to serve one another. We are all, what doesn't matter what job you do, there is something, even if you don't have a job, if you're a parent, if you're working, or if you're a parent, you're a stay-at-home parent, you're serving another human being, you're raising them. If you're working a job, you're serving other people by what you are offering them. If you volunteer, you are serving other people. If you form friendships, you are serving other people. If you have relationships, you're serving other people. It doesn't matter what you do, you are serving other people. That is the role of the soul, to serve, to understand the human being, to serve others. And from, excuse me, and from that serving of others is where we learn the lessons. So that is the purpose. It's not an end. You can't box it into one thing and say, I have one purpose. It's multiple purposes. It's learning so many different things, but it all comes down to serving others. So if you have come from down here, you've come into the body, you're here to serve others, but you probably have no idea what you're here for. Like you don't feel like there's any kind of purpose. You don't know what direction you're going in. You're just here. Perfectly fine. You're just here to experience what it is to be human and pick up whatever lessons you can learn along the way. If you're a little bit higher, or if your soul has come from a higher thing, it's going to remember a lot of information. So it's going to already, as a child, be showing signs of spirituality, just knowing, you know how you hear children and they just know things? They've brought that information with them, they remember it. It also gets trained out of them as they grow up, or it gets nourished. The higher up, then you get people that will be born and just know that they are going to be, my voice today, they just know they are going to be a musician. They know that they might be a doctor. They know that they might be a mother of 20 children. They just know there is something in their childhood that they remember, that this particular life that I'm going to choose, I'm going to focus on this one area. They just know it because they've come from a higher place. These ones down here could be anything. They just, there's no like real, I know I have to be here for this thing. And the thing is, when you get people that teach and they say there is one life purpose, these people down here that don't know what they're here for feel like they're failing in some way. They're looking for something. They're looking for a purpose because they think there has to be one. No, there doesn't, because it depends on the level of where the soul come from. And they don't teach you that. They don't teach you about these levels of where the soul's from, because the soul is not all from the same place. If you've lived 1,000 lifetimes and have got so much knowledge, and you're up here, if you decide to come, or if you're told to come back again, you might have a specific purpose to teach spirituality, like somebody who would be a monk, or teaching really high lessons, because they've already been through it all. They've already been this one down here multiple times. So you can't look at everybody on this earth and put them all in the same box, because the souls inside people are different. So that's the soul part of this journey. Then we have the personality part, the human part of you, and you get to play a character. You get to choose the character you want to be. So you're not born with personality, you're born with a temperament, and your temperament may be outgoing. You might have cried a lot as a baby. You might have been very needed to be held all the time. You might have been a baby that didn't want to be touched. You might have been an independent baby. I want to feed myself. You might have been, I'll let everyone else do stuff for me. That's a temperament. You're either shy or you're bossy. it's a temperament, right? So you are born, that's part of your DNA, part of the makeup of the cells of your body and your brain. And you get to choose the character that you will play in life. So you get to choose, am I going to be the funny one? When you're in school, am I going to be the funny one that makes everyone else laugh? Am I going to be the naughty one that disrupts the classroom? And am I going to be the star student that gets straight A's? Am I going to be the one that sits in the back and never ever wants to put their hand up and speak? Am I going to be the sporty one, that couldn't give a rat's ass about academics? I just want to play sport. Am I going to be the really conscientious student? You get to choose that. It's not natural that it just happens. You're choosing it because you're building your character. You're playing a character. So then when you get to be an adult, you get to play a character, right? So let's say I'm going to go into a relationship. I play a character in that relationship. I can play a loyal partner. I can play a codependent partner or an independent partner. I get to play I could be a jealous partner. I could be a partner that cheats. I could be a partner that keeps secrets. You get to choose the character that you play, and you choose it based on what you think is right for you. And doing that as well, you also get to play the character in the what you want to do with work. And it depending on like the character you want to play, if you're thinking, because your thoughts is what is creating you. So if you're thinking, I want to be successful, and you've got a perception in your mind of what you think success is, like, first of all, what is success? Some people just getting out of bed in the morning is successful. Other people feel like they have to push themselves to get to the top of a ladder to impress themselves. They think that's successful. It's all different. Like, you can't keep putting all this stuff in one box. Everyone has different perceptions. So you get to choose what you want to do with life. Now, the lessons that the soul's getting, it doesn't matter what job you're doing. It doesn't matter if you are a politician, a doctor, a nurse, a truck driver, a retail assistant, a dental assistant. Doesn't matter what job you're doing. Your soul will find the lessons because you are always interacting with other people. And if your lessons are quite often, I think sometimes we don't get told we have to have lessons. We just take on everything that we possibly can. And other times we have specific lessons. Our soul already knows that there are specific things that we want to experience, which we may have been left over from a previous life. So I've said this before. If in a previous life or in other previous lives I continually stole from people, or if I just took things as I felt like I was entitled, or I was poor in one life and the only way I could survive was to take things from others. If I did that, my soul can make a choice to come back to have things taken from me in a lifetime so that I experience both ends of the stick. I know what it is to steal. I know what it is to have things taken from you. And it's not in a form of a judgment or a punishment. It's just so the soul understands both ends. Okay, this is how it feels in a human body to have to take things, and this is how it feels in a human body to have things taken from you. I understand. And that if you start thinking about other ends of the stick, there's billions of them, on how you treat other people to how they treat you. And your soul just sees it all as a blessing. Like, oh, the soul says, oh, I understand what it is. And I think that's where we get to these higher levels, is by continually going through these really difficult times. If a soul is born into a body that is disabled, the soul gets the experience of what it is for that human to be in a disabled body. And then that soul understands all the problems that go with that, all the issues that go with the mind, with the thought, that goes with what it is to exist in a disabled body. If a soul is born into a character, that decides they're going to be an elite sport athlete and go to the Olympic Games, that soul understands dedication, training, tired, like frustration, injury, healing. Like that soul gets to experience all that from that character. And so it doesn't matter the character you're playing, because it doesn't matter if you were an elite athlete or if you're a disabled person or if you are an entertainer. We've all got the same problems. It doesn't matter what we're doing. Our problems can be the same. We can all have relationship problems. We can all have money problems. We can all have health problems. And so the character is just the character. That's the bit we get to decide. We get to decide, okay, I'm going to play this character. But the soul is just going to take anything that it gets from it. It's going to take all the lessons that it gets from it. So I think what gets the problem is when somebody says, what is my life purpose? Or someone's trying to teach somebody what their life purpose is. They're stuck in the human version of you're supposed to be, and they think of it more like, what is my career supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing? Like they're somehow lost. And if you think about it, if you've raised children, you've had a purpose. If you're in a relationship, you've got a purpose, because you're giving a service to that other person. You're giving a service to children. If you work in any kind of job, it doesn't matter what job you're doing, you're giving a service to somebody else. That's the purpose. The whole purpose is to just be of service to someone else. And while you're being of service to somebody else, you're learning. You're learning how human beings react. And you learn the power of, I can control the way I react. I don't have to react that way. And if the whole character of who you are, if you're a person who stands on the stage and entertains people, if you're a person that is quietly in the background doing background work, if you're a volunteer, if you're a planner, if you're a leader, if you're a follower, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You're having a purpose. You're still impacting other people. If you are a disabled person and you can't get around in a wheelchair, you're allowing another person to have a purpose to help care for you. So that's your purpose. Your purpose is to allow somebody else to have their purpose. We are constantly exchanging energy and being of service to other people. So, the way you might be looking at it is, I don't feel like I've done anything in my life. Every single conversation you've had has a purpose. Every action you take has a purpose. The whole lot of your existence has a purpose. So you are impacting on other people, and your soul is learning. Your soul is taking information. Your soul might say, this is a really, really easy lifetime this time round. And your soul might say, this is a really, really difficult one. You're getting caught up in just this life. What about the other 50 lives you've had and the next 50 you're going to have? It's a bigger picture. It's a much bigger picture. So, yeah, there is not one purpose. It's just the whole damn lot of everything you are here doing has a purpose to it. Just remember that.